Hi, everyone. Welcome and thank you for joining tonight's emergency national call. As people are joining from around the country, let's get to know one another, as we always do. Please share in the chat your first name, your pronouns, where you're viewing this live stream from, and one word to describe how you are feeling right now. Again, as folks are joining from around the country, please let's get to know one another in the chat. So share your first name, your pronouns, where you're viewing this live stream from, and one word to describe how you're feeling right now. I will start. My name is Percy. I'm Director of Member Learning at MoveOn. My pronouns are he, him, and I am from the west side of Chicago. And my word is ready, right? This weekend just made me very ready to do something about it, right? So again, if you are joining us for the first time, just go ahead and put your first name, pronouns, where you're viewing this from, and one word to describe how you are feeling right now. So we have a lot to cover tonight, but before we get into tonight's live stream, we would like to welcome all people, identities, and feelings into this space of learning, patience, and curiosity. I welcome your curiosity. I welcome your righteous indignation. I welcome your anger, your grief. I welcome your determination and even your passion. So for those of you who are new to MoveOn and this is the first time you've ever joined us, welcome. To those of you who have been with us throughout the years for the fight, welcome to you as well. To those of you who have been touched by COVID-19 in any way, survivors, thrivers, people just holding it together for today, you are welcome. To folks who are, to people who are and will be directly affected by the overturn of Roe, you are welcome into this space and acknowledged. People of all identities, of all backgrounds, of all ethnicities, abilities, and of all ages, you are welcome here tonight for this live stream. So tonight we convene together to gather strength among us, right? We convene this evening because the overturning of Roe is a blow to the movement and the work that some of us have been doing and have been engaged in over the last several decades. We convene because overturning Roe is a Republican extreme act on full display, right? And let's be completely clear, this wasn't a rogue one-off action by a couple of little justices who finally got the opportunity. No, this is something that has been in works and in practice for a long time and by the entire Republican Party. So tonight we'll be hearing from some of our progressive champs, elected leaders, and from our very own leader, Rahna Epting, in this important and painful moment. Roe versus Wade was a landmark decision that cemented legal support for abortion rights in this country. The right-wing Supreme Court justices chosen by Bush Sr., by Bush Jr., and by Trump stripped Roe this past Friday. And so it's a lot going on in the country right now. So we'll be hearing from champions who are committed to protecting abortion rights and ensuring that the voices of the majority are heard in the halls of Congress and in state capitals. We will fight and we will win back our abortion rights when we take control of the Senate, okay? So in case you haven't gotten it so far, this is a space where we are going to come together and we're going to share and we're going to talk about what happened, but we're also going to talk about what we're going to do because of what happened this weekend, okay? We will elect leaders who commit to protecting abortion rights on the state and the federal level. That's what's at stake for all of us this November. We all have a role to play in protecting abortion rights and stopping these right-wing extremists who won't stop just at abortion, right? This is just the tip of the iceberg. Interracial marriage, contraception, marriage equality will all be in peril with a Republican Congress and a right-wing Supreme Court. We're fighting to protect abortion rights and to hold accountable the Republicans who are attacking our bodies, our health, and our autonomy. For years, Republican states have passed unconstitutional abortion restrictions and bans with hopes of overthrowing Roe and the Supreme Court that has been unfairly stacked by some of our GOP Senate friends. Together, we can defeat these right-wing extremists this November and elect pro-choice Democrats to pass laws that protect and expand our right to abortion. So again, we are here to share with one another. We are here to talk about what happened, but we are also here to talk about where we go from there, okay? And so I want to really, again, welcome you all into this space and thank you for being here. I am so excited to introduce our first guest, our first speaker who is going to give us a message of solidarity. I'm going to turn it over now to Jackie Spear of California.
This should be a turning point for all of us who care about the future of our children. It is time to recognize that this court is political. This court is extreme. It is going to be there indefinitely unless we take steps to overturn what's going on here. This is a despicable decision, as is the one yesterday in Bruin, and it suggests that now all we're going to use as a test is history and tradition. So what does that mean? Are we going back to the 1200s or the 1700s? Because that's what the court was relying on, was dicta or cases dating back to the 1700s. It is time for us all to mobilize.
Thank you, Representative Spear. That was so good. We know that she was out there in the thick of it. You could hear by the music in the background as she was fighting and talking out there, but we thank her so much for her leadership and her guidance throughout this time and throughout this movement. That being said, I really would like to take this opportunity to introduce someone who has been at the helm of MoveOn for the last few years and has really showed us what being progressive means and really has been out there. And I just want to do a quick hat tip because she was out there this weekend giving the speech and really showing us how to be good progressive stalwarts and how to actually hold the line. And so I would like to take this opportunity to introduce our executive director, our leader, Rahna Epting, to have some words for us.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, everybody, for spending your Sunday evening here virtually. I always really appreciate being in community with MoveOn members and folks all over this country in moments, quite honestly, of crises like the moment we're in now. And while we knew this decision was coming, we heard about it. It was leaked in Politico. People were talking. We protested over a month ago. We knew it was coming, but I'll be honest, there is no amount of mental and logistical preparation that one can do to fully prepare you for the actualization of 5 extremist judges brazenly taking away your right to bodily autonomy. Overnight, the world changed. And it's moments like these where being together in community is the necessary antidote to apathy, to fear, to everything, y'all. At the end of the day, the world is rough, but we got each other. And coming together as we are this evening, and as we will do through the course of MoveOn's existence, this is what we do at MoveOn. This is what community is all about, particularly when there is so much on the line for all of us, and our collective action is needed now more than ever. That's what makes us powerful. It's not just us as individuals and the work that we do to make the world a better place, but it's when we act together. And that is the power of MoveOn. I also just want to share that I am sure many of you have been wrestling with many emotions over the last 48 hours since 10 a.m. on Friday: fear, sadness, rage. And I just want to say, you are not alone. I'm sure every single one of us here tonight is feeling the same. Since Friday at 10 a.m., I have felt scared. Scared for all of us, scared for my children, scared for future generations. for all of us whose rights and freedoms and control of our bodies were taken away by this extremist court. I have felt sadness. I've had moments of despair, so much so that I felt lost a little bit. And I'm sad because of the progress that we have made and so many of us have worked for over generations, that it was just wrenched on Friday by these cowards. Progress is not permanent. You have to keep fighting for it. And sometimes like that inspires me and powers me to keep going, but sometimes it's hard, y'all. But most of all the emotions that I have felt rage. I am outraged. And I don't get outraged too often. I am outraged. I'm outraged that the small-minded extremist judges who represent a minority in this country trampled over the will of the majority. That they even had the ability to do that. So over the last 48 hours, I have wallowed in all of these feelings. I'm sure you have wallowed in some of them as well. Maybe you have more. But each time I get there, I get down, there is a voice inside of me that insists that we must not allow our anger, our sorrow, our fear, any of that to stop us. It cannot hold us back. We cannot throw our hands up and give up. We cannot give in. This is not permanent. The stripping away of our rights is only permanent if we allow it, if we stop fighting, if we don't stand together and do everything in our power to make change. That's when we lose. So let me be clear. There's power in us. There are more of us than there are of them. Over 70% of this country believes in the right to bodily autonomy. We are the majority, folks. We are not alone. Hundreds of millions of us all throughout this country stand with us. Big cities and small, young and old, black and white, rich and poor, you name it. The vast majority of people in this country do not approve of the decision that the Supreme Court made on Friday. This ruling only stands. It is only permanent if we allow it to be. So I'm asking every single one of us. I'm doing it on this live stream. I did it out on the streets in front of the Supreme Court yesterday. I will do it every day. I am asking every single one of us to refuse to be silent, to not go on with your daily business as usual and go quietly into the night and say, well, that's how it is. I am asking us to stay in it, to do whatever you can in your humanly power to fight back. The only way we win is if we take action, is if we don't give up. And they only win if we let them. Deep breath. I also want to be clear about this. What we saw on Friday is not just the work of 5 justices who, happened to be on the Supreme Court. No, it's the work of the entire Republican Party who bent the rules to put them there, to put those 5 justices there for this very moment to happen. This has been a decades-old plan in the making. A Republican Party that is extreme, and their extremism is now on full display for the world to see. They're saying it out loud. A party that's willing to rig the rules to hold on to power. A party that is beholden to a MAGA extremist base. A party that refuses to rid itself of conspiracy theories and delusions. A party that was behind the January 6th attempted coup of our democracy. A party that seeks to control us, to take away our rights to bodily autonomy, to take away our freedoms. And they aren't stopping at Roe, folks. They're not stopping at criminalizing our bodies and the decisions we make about our own care and our own lives. They're not even at banning all abortions. Oh no, that's just the start. They're talking about ending marriage equality. They're talking about stopping access to contraception. That's always been the Republican plan. That's what's coming next. Thomas said as much in his ruling. Read it yourself. He said it. It's on the wall. But in all of this outrage, in all of your sadness, please do not forget, there are more of us than them. We actually have more power. We just need to out-organize and we need to use it. And that includes you joining in all the work that we have to do. And Republicans know that. They know they're outnumbered. They know they can't win on this issue at the ballot box. That's why they stole 2% Supreme Court seats. They packed the court and they went through the system they rigged to commit this atrocity. They know the people are not on their side. They know this is third rail. And we have to remember we are bigger than them. So I have one message for every Republican responsible for this. We are coming for you and we're kicking you out of office this November. And that's where all of you come in. We have work to do. Don't forget, just 2 short years ago, we came together in historic numbers to kick Donald Trump out of office, y'all. You remember how that felt? We didn't know if we could do it. The deck was stacked against us. The odds were against us, but we did the work. We organized, we mobilized, we sent the texts, we made the calls, we wrote the postcards, we went door to door, we talked to our friends, our family members, we volunteered, we put our heart and soul into this country and we won. But as I said before, nothing is permanent. It's time to do it again. Because the radical right is relentless and they are dangerous. And they did not stop when Trump lost. We cannot afford to allow them to win because we won't go back. They overturned Roe. Now we need to overturn the GOP and take back the rights and freedoms that they stripped away. And we cannot do it alone. When we act together, and only when we act together, that is when we are the most powerful. So I'm asking all of you to join us tonight. Go to MoveOn.org right now and sign our pledge to vote them out. If you sign that pledge, we're going to invite you to do a bunch of organizing throughout the election cycle and take a bunch of action that's really impactful, strategic. We have an excellent plan and we want you to be part of it. So if you haven't already gone to MoveOn.org and signed the pledge, please do that now. If you have, share it with your friends, text it to them, put it on your social media, share the pledge far and wide. We're trying to get 1 million folks to pledge to vote out the GOP this cycle. We are the majority. We are powerful. We need to get the team back in formation. We have got work to do. And I know all the pundits say we can't win in November. But you know what? They're wrong. We actually can. And we will. But we'll only do it if we come together. And too much is at stake for us not to. So I don't think we have a choice. So I want to thank you for being here. I want to thank you for being part of the MoveOn community. Thank you for, if this is your first time in one of our live streams, thank you for spending your Sunday evening and saying, what's this all about? I'm going to join in. Thank you for all you do in the months ahead to hold Republicans accountable for this ruling. I am in incredible appreciation of every single one of you. So now I have the real honor of introducing a true champion of reproductive freedom and abortion access. She's a good friend of MoveOn. She's a good friend of the people of this country. She's a good friend of democracy and making it work for people. And she's one of the best champions we could ask for in Congress, Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal.
I'm Congresswoman Pramila Jayapal. We have officially entered some of the darkest days we have had in recent memory. For the first time in more than half a century, the right to have an abortion is no longer the law of the land. Like you, I am furious that a radical Supreme Court has put religious zeal over settled law to force their agenda on us. I am ashamed that our broken Senate, where the minority rule dominates, could not enshrine the right to an abortion into law. I am heartbroken for the millions of low-income people, people of color, young people, and LGBTQ+ people whose lives will be in danger because of this cruel decision. I am already grieving the lives we are going to lose because Supreme Court justices who were appointed by presidents who actually lost the popular vote have decided that women and pregnant people across this country will no longer have the fundamental freedom to make decisions about our own bodies. Very unfortunately, this decision is not a surprise. We knew this day would come because this moment is the culmination of decades of insidious work by the Republican Party to throttle our freedom to choose. In the midst of our shared anger and pain, I am asking you not to give up. Take your anger and turn it into resolve. As organizers, we have seen over and over again throughout the history of our country how strength emerges in these times of crisis. Let it emerge now. Do not succumb to hopelessness or inaction. Gather your resolve, your frustration, your fury, and channel it into strategizing, organizing, and planning our next steps. This is not the end. We must protect people across this country who will need our help. And most of all, we must make our voices heard at the ballot box in November. Elect a strong pro-choice majority in the Senate, keep our majority in the House, and make sure that no one, not even the Supreme Court, can ever dictate what we do with our bodies, ever again.
Thank you so much. First of all, I have to say, listening to Rahna has really energized me, and I hope it's energized you. If you are committing to actually doing something this year, put in the chat, oh, I'm doing something. Just let us know in the chat where you are. Oh, I plan on doing something, whether it's getting your friends and family out to vote, whether it's knocking on doors, whether it's making calls. Now is the time more than any other time. And it's crazy because we always say that every cycle is like now more than ever, but it's always true. Now more than ever, we need everybody to come together, and not only come together, but to use the power that we have been given in this country. Well, the power that we have fought a long time to get. And so I want to make sure that we are all still engaging. So if you're still with us in the chat, just go ahead and let us know that you are with us. Rahna said something that really stuck out to me. She said it's only permanent if we allow it to be, right? We have a real decision to make. Are we going to allow these changes to be permanent? And my answer to that is no. And I'm going to fight tooth and nail and all my nails, okay? And I get them done regularly. I'm putting all that I got on the line because this is so important for so many folks. Now, I want to introduce our last speaker of the evening, who sent us a wonderful message of encouragement and really a message to sort of charge us up for the fight ahead. I would like to bring now Governor Tony Evers of Wisconsin as he gives us a message for this moment.
Governor Tony Evers here. A few days ago, the U.S. Supreme Court took away reproductive health care decision-making from the women of Wisconsin, essentially making them second-class citizens. We will fight this tooth and nail all the way to any court in the land. This is really important. There's no reason in the world that women should not have the ability to make decisions around their reproductive health care instead of politicians. It's one of the most insane things I've ever heard of. So we're going to fight. We're going to win this battle. It's going to take some time, but rest assured, Wisconsin is fighting hard.
Thank you, Governor. And thank you all for being here tonight. It's really important that we take the rage that we are experiencing right now this weekend and turn it towards those who are responsible, right? And that is the GOP. And make sure that they know that by stripping away our rights, they have ensured their own defeat at the ballot box. I know we are mad as hell. I get it. But we have to now focus it and let them know that we are not going to stand for it. So to build and show our collective strength as the majority, we are asking for 1 million MoveOn members to sign a pledge to vote out the GOP this November. 1 million members. Okay, we won't stop there. The 4th of July is coming up. We need to start having some tough conversations with our families, our neighbors, and our communities, because we refuse this MAGA future of right-wing extremism that the GOP is trying to impose upon us. We will not go back. We will not go back. We are not heading backwards in this country. We are going to fight tooth and nail. So if you go to ourbodiesourfreedom.com, you can sign the pledge and be one of the million MoveOn members to sign the pledge to vote out the GOP this November. That's ourbodiesourfreedom.com. You see it on the screen right there. You can go there now and sign your name. All right. Again, go to ourbodiesourfreedom.com. Let the GOP know. Let us know. Let your friends know. Like, by signing this is what you're standing for. And not only that, tell your friends who you know are in this fight, hey, you need to sign this pledge as well. Again, ourbodiesourfreedom.com to make sure we let the GOP know, put them on notice. We're putting you on notice. The second thing that I would like to say to us before we leave this evening is, your story is so important, and it is by our stories that we do the work that we do. It is because of our stories that we relate to people. So you have a role to play in defending reproductive rights. Part of our work is to spread messages affirming abortion as a fundamental health care and share why abortion access matters to all of us. So please share your story with us about why this fight is important to you and how you plan to take action this election season to defend abortion rights. We'll use your stories to motivate other voters this year to turn out in November. In this moment, we can use all the community that we can get, and we need to be reminded that we are the majority. Okay, so we will take back our power and ensure that this country serves us all, not just an extreme minority that want to take away our rights and freedoms. And again, that won't stop at abortion. They will come for all of it. So in order for you to share your story, you can go to moveon.org/row. Again, that's moveon.org/row, ROE, and you can share your stories with us. And again, we will use those stories to talk to other people, because that's how we organize. We organize story by story, and telling real people's stories is a great way to motivate people to vote. So again, I know this weekend has been painful. It has been hard. But in all of this, remember, we still have the power. If you believe that, go in the chat right now and put, we still have the power, right? We still have the power to ballot box. We still have the power of our voice. We still have the power to knock on doors, to make calls. We still can call our friends and say, hey, get your ass up and vote. And we can tell our family members this is important. We still have the power. So as we go through this weekend, as we think about the ramifications of this weekend, think also about what it is that you can do, what you are empowered to do this weekend. And I want to admonish you to really lean into the power that you have. So with that, I would like to thank all of you for joining us this evening. I would like to thank our representatives, Jayapal and Spear, to the governor of Wisconsin, Governor Evers, and to our own ED, Rahna Epting. I want to say thank you so much for taking the time in this moment with all the things going on to make this message to us as a community that it is not over. The fight is just beginning. It might look dim right now, but we got work ahead and we can do this. And so with that, I just bid you adieu until we meet again. Thank you so much. Have a good night.